and can get to work on building a better transportation system for you and your families. Across the country, we are commemorating National Work Zone Awareness Week, the unofficial start of construction season. Thanks to Governor Pritzker's historic Rebuild Illinois Capital Program and the Federal Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, you're going to be seeing work zones in every part of the state once again this year. The governor and IDOT are committed to making the safety of workers and the traveling public a priority for us in the state. Preliminary numbers for 2024 show that 13 people died in work zones in Illinois, 4 of which were workers. A reminder that crashes in work zones have a much greater impact on drivers and their passengers. It's not all just construction workers. On average, we continue to see almost 6,300 work zone crashes every year in Illinois, resulting in more than 1,600 injuries. While we are encouraged to see our numbers trending downward at a time when we are doing more work than ever, we can and we must do better. The only acceptable number is 0. As we move into summer, the number of projects will increase. We need your help to get out the word that safety in the work zone is everyone's responsibility. Joining us today are our partners from the Illinois Tollway, the Illinois State Police, Laborers Locals, Chicago Department of Transportation, Cook County, and the Illinois Road and Transportation Builders Association. We also have many members of our IDOT family with us, including highway maintainers who are in the field every day putting their lives on the line. I urge you to seek them out once we complete this event today and to hear about their experiences and the risks that they face keeping our roads safe. It will truly give you something to think about. The theme for the National Work Zone Awareness Week this year is Respect the Zone so we all get home. It is a strong message that traveling through work zones requires your undivided attention and that we need to rely on each other to protect the safety of everyone in these work zones. We need to protect workers, motorists, bicyclists, and pedestrians. When you see orange this construction season, please avoid all distractions, especially your cell phones and other devices. Obey the signs. They will help you safely navigate work zones and sometimes avoid delays. Pay special attention to your surroundings. Conditions such as lane shifts or closures can change quickly. Look out for slowed or stopped traffic and consider the limitations of heavy equipment and trucks and other commercial vehicles, giving them plenty of distance to come to a complete stop if they are behind you. And yes, more importantly, slow down. These common sense rules are meant to save your life and not just the ones of the workers. The people you pass working on equipment or behind the cones and barricades are someone's father, mother, son, daughter, friend, and neighbor. Whether you encounter a small crew patching potholes or multiple workers on an interstate construction project that stretches across several miles, the people in that work zone want to get home at the end of the day just like you. Lastly, our friends with the Illinois State Police continue to see way too many collisions and close calls because of failure to abide by the move over law. Slowing down and moving over for any stopped vehicle at the side of the road is a simple courtesy that can go a long way in saving lives, including your own. We are doing our part at IDOT to make this construction season and this year our safest ever in Illinois. But it has to be a team effort. Do your part and drive smart. Next up, I'd like to introduce you to Rohan Gale from the Illinois Tollway.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Rohan Gale, Chief of Maintenance and Traffic for the Illinois Tollway. I want to thank everyone for joining us today for the start of National Work Zone Awareness Week. For the Illinois Tollway, keeping our customers and workers safe is always our highest priority. That's why we're joining with other state agencies, construction industry groups, and labor representatives to urge drivers to take extra precautions this year while traveling through work zones. The Tollway is committed during this construction season to designing and maintaining its work zones in a way that provides maximum protection for everyone who is working or traveling on our roads. Our customers will encounter frequent work zones on the Tollway system this year, as we plan to invest about $1.15 billion in roadway repairs and improvements, with much of that construction occurring as part of our Move Illinois capital program. That includes major work occurring on portions of the Central Tri-State Tollway, I-294, between St. Charles Road and I-55, as well as where we're rebuilding a massive interchange connecting I-294 to I-290 and I-88, which will improve traffic flow to relieve congestion. But we'll also be doing maintenance and repair work on other parts of our system, so drivers should watch out for work zones no matter which tollway system they are driving on to reach their destination. When completed, these improvements will make traveling on the tollway safer and more convenient for our customers. But until then, we're reminding drivers of the crucial role they play in maintaining safe work zones with this year's theme: respect the zone so we all get home. Work zones can be challenging places for drivers, the workers constructing or improving our roads, and for our tollway crews assisting customers. The easiest, most effective step drivers can take in work zones to protect themselves, their passengers, construction workers, and emergency responders is to slow down. Slowing down gives drivers more time to safely react to situations they may encounter in work zones, including new traffic patterns, lane closures, unexpected congestion, workers or equipment on or near our roads. Drivers should also watch for tollway help trucks and roadway maintenance crews that patrol our system, including work zones, that provide round-the-clock emergency roadside assistance. By dialing star 999, stranded drivers will receive prompt help from tollway crews who can change flat tires, jump-start batteries, add coolant, or arrange for tolls. In addition to slowing down in work zones, we're reminding drivers they can protect themselves and others by taking a few simple precautions. 1, allow additional time to reach your destination, whether commuting or traveling on the weekend. 2, avoid distracted driving. Texting or using handheld cell phones while driving is illegal and dangerous. Remember, drop it and drive. Taking these simple actions can reduce crashes and help everyone who uses our roads to get home safely. Thank you very much, and it is my pleasure to introduce Captain Ken Benson.
Thank you, Rohan Gale. Good morning. I'm Captain Ken Benson with the Illinois State Police. ISP is pleased to join the Illinois Department of Transportation and our community partners in recognizing 2025's Work Zone Safety Awareness Week. The Illinois State Police is dedicated to partnering with stakeholders throughout Illinois to protect construction zone workers, first responders, and the motoring public. Every day, ISP deploys officers to construction zones to monitor traffic flow and identify drivers who disobey work zone speed limits and violate other traffic laws. With many construction projects throughout the state of Illinois, ISP reminds drivers, allow plenty of time for travel, slow down, and avoid tailgating, and pay attention to the road. Speeding, distracted driving, and driving while impaired in work zones are serious offenses, which can have tragic consequences. Day after day, ISP officers handle preventable crashes, whether in work zones or when someone fails to move over for an emergency vehicle. The Move Over Law, known as Scott's Law in Illinois, requires drivers to move over and slow down when approaching a stationary emergency vehicle with its lights activated. The Move Over Law not only applies to law enforcement vehicles, but ambulances, fire vehicles, IDOT emergency traffic patrol vehicles, tow trucks, and other authorized emergency vehicles. ISP and IDOT urge drivers to also move over and slow down for any vehicle with flashing lights on the side of the road. We've all heard it, move over and slow down for emergency vehicles. Despite this, we continue to see crashes, including deadly crashes, because someone refused to move over and slow down. To help end this reckless behavior, we want the public to know that if you fail to move over and slow down in Illinois, you will get a ticket. The days of receiving a warning are over. Move over or get pulled over. Today, we ask you to help spread our safety message to the public to help keep our road workers safe. Not only do we need to make sure that people know the law, but know what their role is to keep everyone safe and to help save lives. I'd now like to introduce First Deputy Commissioner with the Chicago Department of Transportation, Craig Turner. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Captain. Good morning, everyone. My name is Craig Turner, the First Deputy Commissioner for the Chicago Department of Transportation. I want to thank IDOT for hosting this event and for such strong partnership with CDOT. We all know there's no off-season when it comes to construction, but this is a time of year when we have even more workers making critical improvements across the city of Chicago. This also means it's more important than ever for drivers to slow down and stay alert while within a work zone. At CDOT, we're responsible for building and maintaining infrastructure and people counts on an everyday basis, from sidewalk repairs to roadway reconstructions, bridges, viaducts, and streetlights and traffic signals. We deliver this work in every neighborhood through our dedicated in-house construction crews and also a wider range of contractors and consultants. Thanks to Mayor Brandon Johnson's Build Better Together capital bond, we're entering what will be an extremely busy and productive construction season across Chicago. This year, CDOT will will resurface 175 miles of arterial and residential streets and install 350 blocks of residential lighting. We also making several major capital improvements across the city, including the Milwaukee reconstruction of Logan Square, the Canal Street Viaduct in the downtown Chicago over the Union Station, and start construction on the Chicago Avenue and Halsted Street Bridge and Viaduct project. All this means more crews will be out doing work that makes our infrastructure more reliable and accessible. But none of that progress matters if people don't make it home at the end of the day. That's why work zone safety is so important today, and that's why we're here today. We need drivers to slow down, stay alert, and eliminate distractions. When you see our barricades in the roadway, think about the people behind the projects that are not only laborers, engineers, inspectors, operators, carpenters, doing essential work to keep our city moving, but they're also moms, dads, brothers and sisters, uncles and aunts, and loved ones that people depend on and expect for them to make it home safely at the end of the day. So let's all do our part to make sure everyone gets home safely at the end of the day. Next, I'd like to introduce the president of the Illinois Road and Transportation Builders Association, Mike Strino.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Mike Sturino, S-T-U-R-I-N-O, Illinois Road and Transportation Builders Association. I'm going to be pretty brief. This is my 16th one of these, and it's sad, really, that we have to actually remind people to exercise some judgment and common sense when you're in a speed zone. Even when there aren't workers there, just slow it down. The lanes change. There are uneven surfaces. There are traffic control devices. Follow the speed limit. It's pretty simple. You know, a lot of people don't realize that, and I can't add to some of the eloquent statements, so I'm going to go off on a little tangent. Most of the people who are injured and killed in speed zones are regular motorists. And that's a tragedy. And I care about that. But I deeply care about all the workers. They don't sign on to be injured or worse when they go to work every day. They're serving the public, and treat them as public servants. They're making our infrastructure better for each and every one of us. That makes our economy stronger. That makes Illinois a better place to live. That makes it easier for you to drop your kids off at soccer practice, or get to church, or get to the grocery store. Be considerate, be kind. Think of them as our friend from IDOT said, as your brothers or your sisters, your aunts and uncles, your mom, your dad, your kids. They're somebody's kids, they're somebody's mom and dad. Please be aware, please be familiar with the speed zone and the limitations in that speed zone. Pay attention, put your cell phone down. You shouldn't be using it in your car anyway. Don't get distracted, and certainly avoid driving whenever you're impaired. Give them a break, be kind, be thoughtful, be respectful, obey the limit. Thank you, Mike. I'd like to introduce the next speaker, one of our friends from Organized Labor, Local 76 of La Unit Laborers. She just goes by Maggie.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Maggie Shepard, and I'm a member of Local 76. It's a laborers union. They asked me to come out and say a few words for all the laborers and union workers that are out there, the different types, to talk about work zone awareness. We're all out there just trying to do our job, just trying to go through the day much like you are. And when you go through the work zones, paying attention to the constantly shifting lanes and the constant chaos, for lack of a better word, that goes on in work zones sometimes, you really need to pay attention to that and stay off your phones and be very aware of what's going on. We all just want to get through the day and go home to our families. I want to go home to my kids. You want to go home to your families. We all just need to stay very aware. We try and be aware when we're out there, considerate. We don't want to see anything happen to the public while they're out there as well. So, thank you.
Well, I just wanted to thank you for coming here today, and I wanted to let you know that we've got staff here that have experience, that are in those work zones, that are living this on a day-to-day basis, and they can tell you about the experiences they've had and how all of them, just like us, want to go back home every day with our families and with our friends. So I'm asking you to all please drive safely going back home and to your offices and wherever you're going next. Drive smart, and remember to respect the zone so we can all go home. So thank you very much. Have a good day.